no other. Reviews the draft classes of years past, breaking news, live streams, guests, and so much more. He's going to tell you all about it, even better than I can. Put your hands together for the first time, walking through the Flex Zone doors. The one, the only, the Flock Rundown Zone. Ryan joins the Flex Zone, staying up late. We appreciate it. Put your hands together, everybody. What's up, Ryan? How you feeling, man?
What's going on, guys? Feeling good, man. Appreciate the intro. It was sick.
Hey, man, appreciate you, my brother. How you feeling first and foremost, man? And for those who don't know who you are, let them know who you are, Ryan.
I'm feeling great. Appreciate you guys having me on. And I'm Ryan from the Flock Rundown. I run a Ravens YouTube channel, just pretty much making content every day, bunch of editing, highlights, and on the news, but also on slow days, trying to mix the content up. And like lately, I've been doing, like you mentioned, draft regrades and some mock drafts, and just kind of, I don't know, just being present every day, man, interacting with the community.
Yes, we're draft nerds here, so we love that type of content. So we can't wait to get into all of that here. For those who don't kind of know your story, Ryan, how did you get into YouTube? How did you get started? And maybe even want to talk about your origins as a Ravens fan. I know you said you root for the local teams.
Yeah, for sure. So I've been a fan my whole life. Well, I was born in 93, so they became a team in 96. So, you know.
Greatest year ever, by the way.
Yeah. Young kid fan. So pretty much my whole life. Born in Baltimore, grew up in like Harford County. So Abingdon, Edgewood area, ended up moving to Pennsylvania when I was in like high school with my mom. And then after high school and college, packed my car up, drove out to California. No plan really. Ended up in San Diego, was there for like 6 months, spent 2 years in LA making music, editing videos, back in San Diego now. So just kind of all around, but I started the channel 2 years ago. This would be the third season, but it's like technically about 2 years. Mainly just because I love the team and I already made content and stuff. It wasn't football content, but just understanding like quality and editing a little bit. I just thought it was a good bridge. And I kept talking my girl's ear off all the time. Like just as much of a diehard fan as I am right now, I was already that before I started the channel. And she kept saying like, well, you should just, I think she wanted to hear me stop talking. So she's like, you should just start a channel, you know, or talk to the internet basically. So, I started that and it just kept evolving. You know, I'm just trying to push myself. When I first started, I was just kind of like talking, didn't have a lot of highlights, didn't have a lot of clips, was always like worried about copyrights and stuff. And then just started to like try different things every day and push myself. And now I find a good balance with everything. So yeah, it's been going good.
Yeah, man. I seen that Ray Lewis thing you have when you start
intro / outro now.
Yeah,
I moved it a little bit.
Outro.
Yeah.
That is really dope, man. That is really dope. From the greatest of all time.
Yeah, absolutely.
But well, before I say anything, let's introduce Dre. Dre is in the chat.
Dre, what's up, brother?
What up, Dre?
What's going on, everybody?
Hey, the show can start now. You're here. The other half of the founders. Say what's up to Ryan, man.
Hey, welcome.
What's up, Dre?
I see all the renovations going on at the stadium, so Ravens Flock, yes.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Go ahead, Raj.
All right, so my first question is this. How you feeling about this team, Ryan? From your perspective, you're a huge Ravens fan. We just got John Harbaugh back on a 3-year extension. He was, talking his head off today at the press conference for the owners meeting. What are your thoughts on the team? How are you feeling going into this offseason so far? And you can take it away from there.
Yeah. No, I mean, got to feel good about the team. Obviously, we need to get over the hump. It's frustrating having this talented of a team and beating yourselves so consistently. So that's definitely like a overhanging cloud, that I'm praying we get through somehow. But I mean, from a roster standpoint, even a coaching staff standpoint, I know a lot of people are hard on Harbaugh, and I criticize him where it's needed to, game management things, and sometimes he's making some boneheaded decisions. But like as a leader, as a CEO, as a hire, I mean, he's kept things at bay. I'm not on the team of like we need to fire Harbaugh right now. I kind of wish they would have waited a little bit on the extension just to have a little pressure, you know what I mean? But it is what it is. I'm not going to be mad about it. We don't really know what the other side looks like. So it's kind of hard to have that perspective of like, oh, we could go get this coach and that'll get us over the hump and we'll go win a Super Bowl. Like, we don't know that. You know what I mean? It's too hard to guarantee something like that. So is it worth trying? I don't know. Maybe. You know, I don't know if the grass is greener. So I'm in the middle about the extension. I'm not surprised at all. And I'm not mad that he's the coach either. I think everything's going to stay consistent. Like, the Ravens they're not going to suck, especially when we got somebody like Lamar Jackson, Derrick Henry in the backfield. It's impossible for us, as long as we're healthy, to like not be a playoff team. So I think that the big cloud is just finishing in the playoffs, not having those turnovers, not having those stupid mistakes, man. We lost the turnover battle 3-0 to Buffalo. You know what I mean? Like, the year before that, we're turning the ball over. Zay Flowers getting it punched out on the goal line against Kansas City. We only scored 10 offensive points. Just, that's not our team. We don't score 10 points, man. Like, so I think I'm excited again. You know, I don't see any reason to be like super negative about the Ravens. I feel like the Ravens are going to be another Super Bowl contender. So I'm pumped for the season. Can't wait. I know our roster's stacked. But yeah, we gotta get over the hump, man. So I'm feeling good overall, though, as always.
Speaking of getting over the hump, there's talks about Lamar Jackson getting an extension. When do you feel Lamar Jackson will finally get that team over the hump to the Super Bowl?
Man, this year, I say that every year, though. So, I mean, you could take those words with a grain of salt. I don't know. You know what I mean? Like, I feel that way every year. I'm confident in him. I mean, he just had 41 passing touchdowns, 4 interceptions. That's ridiculous. That's like top 3 quarterback season all time. And he got robbed of the MVP, but it is what it is. He got the first team All-Pro. I feel like that kind of speaks a little bit more volumes anyway. We're kind of dancing around what the MVP even means anymore. But that's besides the point. I mean, to answer your question, this year, right now, I don't know why he can't do that. You know what I mean? But and he's not like absolved of blame either. I mean, he had an interception early in that Buffalo game. Like, that's not him. He threw 4 picks all year, and then in that Buffalo game, he throws an early pick. Like, I'm not saying he threw the game away, but that hurts. You know what I mean? So like, you gotta lock in those big moments. And but he's more than capable of it. So to not have confidence in the fact that he's going to get it done, I think is crazy. Like, I feel like you should have confidence in him. This guy is ridiculous, and his arm is getting better year after year. So even when these legs slow down a little bit, when he gets 30 or whatever, he's always going to be athletic. But I'm just saying, you know, the speed will slow down a little. He might run a little less as time goes on, but the arm's getting better. You should be optimistic about the future, because he doesn't need to run as often. His mind is getting better, most importantly. Like, the way he was reading the field and going through his progressions this year, it was like I've never seen before, man. Like I said, 41 touchdowns, 4 interceptions stands alone. Like that is ridiculous. So I got all the confidence in the world that he can get it done right now this year.
How you feeling about our free agency so far? We got Ronnie Stanley back, signed DeAndre Hopkins, and signed some other free agents as well. How you feeling so far?
Yes, I mean, it's kind of boring. The big decision was Ronnie, and bringing him back kind of made us not have any cap space. So I kind of figured once we brought Ronnie back, I was like, all right, it's only gonna be value deals from here on out. Like, hey, I'm not surprised. So I would say it's an easy offseason. Like, after you brought Ronnie back, like, all you're doing now is adding depth. Could you get more aggressive? Yeah, I think. I mean, there's not a lot of free agents out there right now. I'm just saying you could have got a little more aggressive. Eric DeCosta's been restructuring, and every deal that he's doing, including the Ronnie deal, the Marlon restructure, Tylan Wallace's deal, every deal has void years on it. So we're going to eat some serious dead cap money in a few years. And that's to me like a risky way to go about it. We saw the Eagles do that drastically. They had like double the amount of void years of any other team, and it worked out, obviously, right? Like, they went super aggressive and just won the Super Bowl. But we are doing all these void years. I wouldn't say we're being super aggressive right now, but it is what it is. I think it's kind of a boring offseason compared to other off seasons. Like last offseason, we signed Derrick Henry. That's such a massive signing, even though the contract value wasn't crazy. Look at what he just added to the team. You know what I mean? 1,900 rushing yards. Like, that's a massive addition. This year, Ronnie, obviously keeping Ronnie's a big deal, but bringing in Hopkins is cool. It's exciting. I think he'll score some touchdowns and help us in the red zone. And have some big catches, but it's not a Derrick Henry edition. Like we don't really have that like outside edition that is coming in this year that I'm like over the hill excited about. But I think they are tight against the cap. They decided to keep Mark Andrews, at least for now. That's a big decision. You know, I honestly thought they were probably going to trade him. And I'm not saying they won't. We'll know probably after the draft because I don't think they'll trade him after the draft. But they just paid him a $4 million roster bonus. That tells me they didn't get any like great offers. So we'll see as it gets closer to draft time. But keeping Mark Andrews, a $17 million cap hit, that there's some expensive contracts on this roster. So the Ravens are deciding to kind of run it back, you know, keep a lot of the same guys and just spend their money and resources on adding depth and value. And I don't think they're done in free agency. We'll see some vet get cut or bring back a Calais Campbell or some kind of signing like that, some kind of rotational veteran I could see sometime throughout the offseason. And then we got 11 picks in the draft. So I really think this offseason is just stacking up depth, you know, and building for the future, not necessarily adding like a ton of juice to what we already have, because what we already have is great. We just got to finish.
Yeah. Now Mark Andrews, I love Mark Andrews. I'm one of the ones that do not want him to go because, and I know I follow you. You know, I think you're iffy on it a little bit. It don't matter if he goes, if he doesn't go. For me, I don't want him to go only because one, I want him to redeem himself. He has not been productive in the playoffs his entire Raven career. We understand that. We know that as Ravens fans.
Yeah, it's weird.
But I just think that I think, be honest with you, and this is gonna be the first time I done said this. I think this is our year. I think going into this season, I think this will be our year. I think that we will get over the hump. I think as long as we keep everybody together, as long as people stay healthy, I think we will get to the Super Bowl, and I think we'll win it. I think this is the year that we do it.
Did you have a couple drinks opening day today? You sure you didn't sneak downtown?
No, man. Look at Cavante. Get out the camera. Get out the camera. I'm just saying, man. I mean,
I feel you. Why wouldn't it be? Every year feels like critical. That. We're good enough.
I'm critical on the team. How I feel. Sometimes my heart comes out, and I'm like, I don't think we're gonna get it done. I just feel different so far this year. I feel like it's all gonna come together. It's in God's time, and to be honest with you, I think they'll get it done. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I don't think there's any reason not to feel that way, but you take that for what it is, because I've felt that way the last 2 years. You know what I mean? So when we were in the AFC Championship against KC, hosting a game in Baltimore, I was like, we're going to the Super Bowl. Like, I don't know many people that didn't feel that way until we put up 10 points and the Chiefs are going back again. And then this year again, it's like, all right, let's run it back. We got Derrick Henry now. Lamar just went crazy in the pass game, which he has always been kind of capable of, but we ain't seen no 41-4. So the pass game was lethal. Derrick Henry was going crazy. I was like, again, and the fact that the way we were moving like Pittsburgh around, like at the end of the season when we played them, and then the wild card game, I was feeling great, man. And then we go to Buffalo and we weren't moving them, and we have a smaller front and a less talented front than Pittsburgh, in my opinion, and we weren't moving them that way. So that was weird. And it's those little things, man. They just beat themselves, in my opinion. You know, we lose the turnover battle 3-0. What did Buffalo do in that game that made them such a better team? They didn't make mistakes. They played super conservative on offense. They were chilling. They were just letting us make mistakes. Like, smart, but it doesn't, like, I really don't know how we shouldn't be confident about what we're capable of. They just need to learn from these mistakes and actually finish and execute and not beat themselves. So, yeah, I always feel like this is the year as long as we got Lamar and this team that we have right now. I don't know why you wouldn't feel that way.
How do you feel about the AFC North, Ryan? I mean, you mentioned Pittsburgh. They're just the Steelers. I call them the cockroaches. They may not have a quarterback, but they still win 8 or 9 games. No matter what you try to do to kill this team, they find a way to sustain, even with Mike Tomlin. I think they draft Jalen Milroe. Just a little tease there for the draft. So if it happens, remember where you heard it. I think also, what have the Bengals done? I said they would bring back T. Higgins. They bring him back. Looks like they may even bring back Trey Hendrickson. The Browns are the Browns. I don't really give them much time of day. We call them the clowns up here because they're goofy. How do you feel about the AFC North? I mean, I know I don't want to be overconfident as a Ravens fan because anything can happen, like Rod said, health and goofiness. But how do you feel about this division? It's like the Ravens are kind of head and shoulders. Maybe even you look at the AFC above, even with the Chiefs. I mean, are you really scared of the Chiefs anymore?
I think the Chiefs will always be a competitive game just because they're such a well-coached team. They play really disciplined. They don't make a lot of mistakes themselves. I know they got bullied in the Super Bowl by that Eagles front, but we don't have the Eagles front either. The Chiefs are a threat. The Bills are a threat. The AFC, there's still a few threats, but the AFC North, I'm not as concerned. I would say the Bengals have the most like firepower that can match us. I mean, both our matchups last year. I was at that Thursday night Bengals game, and it was just absurd. Like we could not stop Burrow and Chase.
Do you remember when Real Fan Dan was doing the chant and then Chase scored? Like,
yeah, right after. Like it was, we were like riding high with momentum. Boom, 70-yard touchdown. It's like that. Their firepower does, worry me a little bit. But the fact that we have as much firepower on the other side, we proved last year that we can answer on that defense. I think that defense is weak unless they knock the draft out of the park. They don't have any money to add any weapons. You know what I mean? Maybe they bring Trey Hendrickson back, but we just saw what that looked like last year. It's not going to change their defense. So I think the Bengals don't scare me as much because of their defense, but their offense is the real deal. And Pittsburgh, I mean, I think their offense is bad. Right now, who's their quarterback? Mason Rudolph. I mean, it may be Rodgers if they come in. I like the Milroe call though. I could see them definitely taking a quarterback, but I don't think a rookie steps in and changes.
Oh, they getting Aaron Rodgers too. I said that.
So Milroe wouldn't play.
Yeah, we're gonna whoop his ass twice a year too. Send him to
right.
ayahuasca and all the other things he likes. Send him to the darkness retreat. We're gonna whoop his ass. So he gonna see darkness. So how much we gonna whoop his ass twice a
year? Yeah, I'm not worried about Rodgers either. I mean, I guess that he's a little bit of a wild card because a great could always kind of tap back into that energy for a little bit, but I don't know if it could be consistent. I mean, he had a lot of weapons in New York. Not a great offensive line, but great receivers. He's going to head to Pittsburgh. You could argue like it's kind of a downgrade. I mean, Devontae Adams and Garrett Wilson, I think I would take them over, even though I like Pickens and Metcalf. I think I'd take Devontae Adams and Wilson, especially Adams and Rodgers rapport. Breece Hall, running back. Who's Steelers running back right now? Jaylen Warren. I mean, they might draft somebody, but like I'm not worried about their offense. Their defense always going to be competitive. They play the Ravens pretty well. They're usually not the end of last year. I thought we really turned a stone a little bit, but the first time we played them in Pittsburgh was normal AFC North sloppy ball where we couldn't move. It was just turnovers. And sometimes those games against the Steelers and Browns, their defenses kind of do that to us. So we might see a game like that this year. I wouldn't be surprised if we drop one to even Cleveland. It happened last year against Jameis Winston. So the AFC North is always it's not going to be super easy, but the Ravens should be clear favorites to your point.
How do you feel about Ben Cleveland coming back to the Ravens? And do you think he has a chance to win the left guard position? Maybe not the right guard, because we know Harbaugh loves for Lele. Big Lele, I call him. But what do you think about the left guard position?
I think the left guard position should be wide open. Does Cleveland have a shot? If I had to guess, no. Technically, he does have a shot because he's on the team again and he's going to compete in training camp. And if he is balling out and is our best left guard and it's like clearly obvious, then they should put him as the starting left guard. But I'm just making a prediction that ain't going to happen. I think Cleveland's brought back just for depth. Harbaugh spoke today about it a little bit and was saying that Cleveland wanted to be back here and was like accepting his role basically. So I think he's really just going to play the same exact role. They had him running center last preseason. So I don't think Ben Cleveland's got much of a chance to start at left guard, but left guard should be wide open. I'm not very confident in Voorhees. I'm also not confident in Falele. So I think our guard play is the weakness of that offensive line. And I've been screaming from the mountaintops for a while now that we need to add as much competition as possible. You know what I mean? Hit the draft. We don't have to go guard like first round. That's bold. Maybe if like Tyler Booker or somebody's there, I wouldn't mind it. But I think there's some depth there where we can get some real competition at guard and just let the best man win. And they're going to make each other better. You know what I mean? If Voorhees ends up winning the job, then cool. I'm cool with whoever's going to win the job, but I need competition there. I can't have it be Voorhees and Ben Cleveland. Like to me, they're not going to push each other to be great. Like I definitely I think our guard play needs to be better. So left guard should be wide open right now. Voorhees is probably the starter, but we got a whole draft ahead of us, so we'll see.
Speaking of the draft, this is one of my favorite times of the football off season. You guys have about 11 picks.
Yeah,
35 picks.
Listen, one thing the Ravens know how to do is stockpile them picks. And usually, since generally you guys are always picking in the back end of the first round, which usually means you're trading out of that pick. But with so many picks, who are you looking at 29? And one, will 27. The Ravens actually? I'm sorry, not sorry, 27. The Commanders are. I'm sorry, I'm a Commanders fan, so we're picking at 29. But at 27, will the Ravens pick? And who do you see as a potential person that they'll pick?
It's hard because I got to see the board. I'd be able to make a more educated decision like 5 picks before, when I can look at the board and who's falling, because I feel like that's what the Ravens do. I'd like to grab an edge, but is there going to be a game-changing edge that falls to 27? That's the real debate. Right now, the only, at least from mock standpoint and stuff, I'm seeing Pierce fall sometimes. Mm-hmm. So I'd be interested in him. But there's not a lot of game-changing. Ezeraku's another interesting one. But
I love him.
Yeah. So there's a couple that if they fall, I'd be interested in taking at edge, because I do think the Ravens really need to add a pass rusher. I mean, who knows what's going to happen with Odafe Oweh? That's our best pass rusher right now, but he's in his final year. Kyle Van Noy probably about to retire after this year, or at least not be here. He's like 36 years old. I don't think he's here much longer. David Ajabo so far has been a bust. Hopefully he can take a leap. I'm not writing him off completely. He's shown some flashes, but he was barely making active lineups last year, and he had a healthy year. That's concerning. And then we drafted Adisa Isaac in the 3rd round from Penn State last year. He had a lot of injuries early on, didn't really get into a rotation much, so we'll see there. But it's a lot of question marks. So I think we need to add to the edge, mainly for the future. I mean, I think we'll be okay this year. I think we'll get interior pressure with Travis Jones and Matabike, and then Oweh and Van Noy are going to still hold it down on the end. But the future looks really thin. So edge is something I really want. And then another corner. We need an outside corner, man. I think right now we got Nate Wiggins for sure locked up for a while on the outside. Marlon Humphrey is in his final year, and he's going to play inside. So, and Harbaugh confirmed that today too. Like, they like Marlon inside. He's not going outside, which I think is the best move. So who's the outside corner? TJ Tampa, Jalen Armour-Davis, just question marks. I like TJ. Yeah, Woozier. Yeah, okay. That's a vet depth signing. Maybe he does step up and like become Ronald Darby from 2 years ago. That is 100% possible, but I don't think you should go into the draft banking on that, because if that doesn't work out, or Woozier continues to have injury problems like he's had recently, then you're left thin again if you neglect corner in the draft. So I think corner is a big priority as well. That's where I'm really looking 1st round, unless like a freak D tackle falls. Maybe Harmon or somebody. Like if a freak,
maybe Walter Nolan.
Yeah. If a freak falls, I'm down to take a D tackle. We just lost Michael Pierce. I do think but I need it to be a freak, because this is a deep D tackle class. Like, absolutely. There's nice D tackles in the 3rd, 4th rounds, and we got a lot of picks later in the draft. We only got our first 3 rounds. We only got 3 picks, so we don't have a lot of picks early. And early is when you're going to get your immediate difference makers. You know what I mean? The later in the drafts for depth and future shots, really. And if the Ravens don't play a lot of young guys anyway, so I don't think we're going to get a difference maker for this season in the middle rounds or late rounds. Most likely it's going to be a future play. And we can probably grab that D tackle depth later in the draft. So I would need like a freak to fall in the 1st round. So I'm leaning edge, corner. We're going to need another safety too. We don't have any commitment to our Darius Washington outside of this year. I think he'll come back. He's a restricted free agent. We put that first right of refusal tag on him. So unless he gets another offer, I think he's got like 2 weeks to get an offer from somebody else, and we can match it too if he does get an offer. So I would imagine our Darius Washington staying for this year. but they're not showing him a ton of love. You know, they haven't offered him a contract extension, and we don't have a lot of safety depth. We drafted late round guys, Sanusi Kane, Bo Braid last year. Well, we didn't draft Bo Braid, he was undrafted, but regardless, he's on the team. They got some potential, but I wouldn't mind taking a safety in the earlier rounds too, if it's the right fit. But I think edge and corner seems the most obvious to me early.
Yeah, same for my Commanders. Pretty much everything you're saying is like, yeah, that sounds like my yeah. But I say Byron, I've gone back and forth about our needs, but is there somebody who you would like, who you had your eye on, that's like, that's a Raven right there?
Ooh, Pierce, pass rusher. At corner, I like Thomas from Florida State, but I don't think he's going to go in the first round. I would probably like him in the second round. Trying to think of first round corners that might be there, because like Barron and them ain't going to be there. So who would be there?
So I've been
Level,
hearing
maybe
Johnson may fall. That's what I'm hearing.
Okay, I mean, if Will Johnson falls, absolutely.
Right.
Yeah, that's why I said it's hard to like. I mean, there's a lot of guys I like. It's hard to tell who's gonna. I need to know who's gonna be there. I was just trying to name some guys that I think might fall. If Will Johnson falls, 100%, man, 100%. That's not even something to think about. Siobhan Revel too. Amos, I like Amos.
I like Amos too.
So yeah, those are some corners that stick out. Pierce at edge, D tackle, Harmon. Who else might fall? D tackle. Who would be there at the end of the first round? Kenneth Grant.
Yeah. Nolan.
Walter
maybe.
Nolan is pretty good, but I don't know if I take him in round one though.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying. Yeah, first round
Yeah.
is what I'm thinking. Yeah,
I like Mike Green real quick, Ryan, but the off the field stuff is kind of
But you know, but Pierce has some stuff, you know, off the field as well. So.
Isn't his like anger issues though, man? We can channel that. You know what I mean?
Sure.
We can channel that on the field. I like the raw
ability. He's not a good teammate, is what I heard. He's not a good teammate. No,
well, we got a strong locker room, man. We got a lot of vets. You got a lot of Hall of Famers in that locker room. I don't think Pierce is coming in and acting like he's not going to take over. I don't think it'd be hard for a rookie to come in and like be a cancer to the Ravens locker room. It's a tight unit, man. And I think when you got a Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry, and then now even a Hopkins on offense, you know, leaders on defense too, Roquan Smith, Kyle Hamilton, Marlon Humphrey, Matabike. There's just too many vets, too many all-pro players for like a rookie to come in and be like, I'm the dude, or I'm causing problems. I don't see it.
Crazy.
I don't see it. I think he'd be just fine, man.
I like him. I like
Harrison.
But,
yeah.
But the next one, the guy, the freakish, height, speed. He sounds more like a safety to me, but he's like 6'2", 6'3", and runs a 4.3 at corner, like absurd. Yeah. Darian Porter, I think that's his name.
Yeah.
But I think he's going to be in the second round. I don't think he's going first though.
Yeah, I think he's second round too. But the 4.3 is impressive, man, especially with Wiggins' speed too. You know, Wiggins ran a 4.28. So if you got outside corners with that kind of speed, it makes up for a lot. You know, like if they get burnt or make a mistake, they can catch up. I saw that with Wiggins last year. He made a couple mistakes, but he's catching up to dudes because like there's not a lot of receivers that are faster than him. I mean, 4.28 is impressive, and he's got football speed too. It's not just a 40 speed. Like you can see it on the field. You know, he's moving out there. So I'm always down with drafting athletic, fast guys because I feel like that makes up for a little bit of technique, and then you can hone the technique as the years go.
Well, you spoke earlier about leadership. It seems to be that Roquan Smith is the locker room leader. Why do you think that more so than like a Lamar Jackson?
I think Lamar is the leader probably. I think Roquan has a big voice. He's more outspoken. Lamar's more like one of the guys, and but Lamar spoke up a lot more this season. I think Lamar's play commands that respect of what a leader should be, and he's getting more vocal as the years go. Roquan breaks the huddles down a lot and stuff, so a lot of people always think like he's the only voice, but I don't think he's the only voice. I think Lamar has a huge voice in that locker room as well. He just shows it a little bit differently. He's not such as like rah, like aggressive yelling. It's more lock in, like, you know, like it's more just like talking to him like it's his friend, right? And I don't think that that's it. That doesn't make him like less of a leader. I think Lamar Jackson is probably the leader, and then Roquan's a little bit behind him. But Roquan, if his play doesn't like continue to back it up, I think it'll shift. You know, you might see Kyle Hamilton step into that role. I think Kyle Hamilton's the future of the Ravens defense. Like he's the best player. So I think the leadership role kind of continue to shift, but I think Lamar is growing fast in that department. I noticed a huge leap in leadership last year. I would say I'd crown Lamar as the leader moving into this year. But Roquan's there. I get you.
When do you think we're going to get his contract extension? Do you think we're going to get it?
Hopefully tomorrow. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, it's obviously up to him too, you know, like he makes more if he waits. So like, I totally get we saw how the last contract negotiation went. He's his own agent, or him and his mom. Like he moves differently. So it's not as cut and dry as like, oh, he's eligible for an extension. Let's talk to the agent. Let's take him out to dinner. Like it doesn't exactly go like that with Lamar. You know what I mean? So they'll probably talk about it. But yeah, as a fan, I hope it's done ASAP, because next year, actually the next 2 seasons, he has a $74 million cap hit. Next year, $74 million cap hit the following year. So it's got to get done. It's either getting done this offseason or next offseason, but they are not paying it. They're not having a $72 million or $74 million cap hit. So the extension's coming. I don't know when. He will end up being the highest paid, well-deserved. I think he's going to be in Baltimore for a long time, but the extension not only locks him up in a Ravens uniform for a while and gives him security and the team security at quarterback, it also helps us financially. You know, when you do those extensions, you can start moving money around. So like that $74 million cap hit can get spread. We can add some void years. Next thing you know, that 74 turns into 25 or 40, you know, like it's a lot lower and you end up saving a lot. So I hope it gets done ASAP.
What do you think about, do you think there's going to be a resolution to our Tucker problem?
Yeah.
I don't to ask that.
Yeah. There's definitely going to be a resolution. They've been talking about it. I think they're just waiting for the NFL to talk to everybody. That's such a like unique left field situation, man.
Real quiet lately. You notice that? Like out of nowhere.
Well, it's quiet because the only source that ever reported on this was the Baltimore Banner. We've never heard anyone else. It's not like this is flying around sources from left and right. Like it's only one newspaper, and I'm not critiquing the newspaper. I mean, I'll take them at face value. Like they're not going to ruin their business over like lying about this, but you haven't heard anybody else. So now the NFL is looking into it. I'd like to hear like what their outcome is. And then I think the Ravens are going to react off of that. So I do think we'll get a resolution. They're probably hoping it drags out because I think they save even more money if I guess you could do the post June 1st cut anyway and just end up cutting them. We did that with Marcus Williams. So we could cut them whenever. I think there'll be a resolution. If I had to predict, just tossing it out there, I don't think he's going to be on the team. I think we're gonna move on. And his struggles last year helps that. You know what I mean? And who knows what those struggles exactly were. Maybe he kind of got wind this story was going to come out because like these allegations were from a decade ago. It's not something that just happened. You know what I mean? So he probably in his mind thought this was over. You know, if he did that, like he's like, all right, we're past this. That was 10 years ago. No one's even going to talk about it. And now it's just like hitting him in the face left and right. And I think that if he knew this was kind of buzzing last year, that definitely kind of explains the slump. But I think his slump makes this easier. I mean, he cost the Ravens probably 3 games himself, missing 2 field goals. You know, I mean, per game. You know, we lost to Pittsburgh. They didn't even score a touchdown. And we lost in Pittsburgh. Tucker misses 2 field goals. Like you could say the offense should have scored more, but like you can't. Tucker ain't usually been that unreliable for us. So he was in a slump last year. I mean, people were screaming to cut him like during that stretch. Like cut him that second. And that was before we even knew allegations. So yeah, so like if I had to predict, I don't think he's going to be on the team, and I would expect a resolution within the next like few months.
So who do you think replaces him?
I mean, probably going to draft a guy and then probably sign a free agent and have a competition. I don't have any like names off the top of my head. I haven't like been studying kickers that much. I don't even know who the kicker free agents are.
It's not looking very
yeah.
From my
so
opinion.
That's why I think it'll be like multiple guys and they'll let them compete, you know. And Tucker was an undrafted free agent, so I think the Ravens could scout somebody and find a gem, and then also maybe bring in a veteran, you know, because I think when Tucker came in, I don't want to bring this up. This name is rough in Ravens history, but Billy Cundiff was the Ravens kicker right before we brought in Tucker. And the season we brought in Tucker, like people didn't even know who he was like that. Like we were like, oh, we got this undrafted free agent rookie kicker, Justin Tucker. And then he wins the job and Billy's cut. And everyone's kind of half celebrating because he just shanked that field goal in the AFC Championship. And then, but also we were like worried, right? Like it was like, oh, we had a vet who wasn't awful. I know he seems awful because of that kick, but he was okay. And then we bring in a rookie kicker in Tucker, like everyone was unsure until they started seeing it. So I think it'll probably be something like that. We'll bring in a vet, bring in a rookie, could be an undrafted rookie, could be a late round draft rookie. I wouldn't reach like high in the draft for a kicker. I mean, we drafted Jordan Stout as a punter in the 4th round, and I don't even think that was like the best move. I feel like we can find special teams gems later and coach them up. So to answer your question, I don't know who the kicker is going to be, but I think they'll bring in multiple guys and just let the best man win.
Any thoughts on the Cooper Rush on it real quick? I know backup quarterback. I think it's an upgrade. What you think?
Yeah. It's probably the best backup we've had since Flacco backed up Lamar when in Lamar's rookie year. Because Tyler Huntley and Josh Johnson, I mean, they had limitations. Huntley was mobile, but couldn't push it through the air the same way. At least we've seen Rush have some starting experience. He's had great games. I'm not like pumped about it. I mean, he's a backup quarterback. If Lamar goes down for any extended period of time, we're screwed. So I'm not naive to that fact. But yeah, it's cool. I think it is an upgrade. So it really benefits the Ravens if Lamar has to miss like 2 or 3 games. You know, if there's a couple week stretch, I think we could probably win 2 or 3 of those games with Rush. But if we got to go into the playoffs or try to make a run with Cooper Rush, I'm not confident at all. But I'm cool with upgrading the backup quarterback position. When I first saw the contract, I was a little worried because it was like getting reported that it was $12 million. But I think it's really like $3 million per year. Mm-hmm. If he starts for a X amount of games, then it becomes 12 or whatever. So 3 million, whatever, man. Like, you know, it's good to have a backup quarterback that can at least be serviceable and continue to push the ball down the field. I don't think our pass game is going to drop off tremendously if he has to fill in for a game or 2. I think we could get by. So I'm cool with it. I don't think it moves the needle a ton, but it could help if Lamar has to miss a week or 2.
How are you feeling about Lamar's? Well, timeout. What do you think Lamar is going to do in his new acting role on Power?
Yeah, I don't know. He's supposed to be like a villain, right?
Well, we thought it was going to be this week for those Power watches. I thought it was going to be this week. I watched that.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
And I was a little disappointed.
Yeah, I don't know when it's coming. I don't even watch the show, so I really don't know a ton about it. I got.
Well, Roger, tell Ryan what you want to see Lamar do. Tell him. What Lamar do. Tell him what you want to see in his acting debut.
Okay, in his acting debut, of course, this is executively produced by 50 Cent. He's involved. And if you know 50 Cent over the years, you know 50 Cent is into bang bang, shoot 'em up, bang bang. So since Lamar is playing a bad guy, he might be shooting some people.
All right. How long do you think he's gonna last on the show?
Now that's a good
question. Does he get killed off, or is it?
I don't know. I don't know if he gets killed off or not. I know he's a part of a Unique's gang, the guy that's the bad guy on the show right now. So I'm not sure if he's going to come in guns blazing, if he's going to let in the last couple episodes. All I know is his character is going to be a bad guy. Hopefully we see some guns. Hopefully he shoots somebody. I don't know, but we'll see.
I'm excited. I'm excited, man. I'm excited to see, is he Is he keeping a similar personality or demeanor to?
No, I think he's gonna
Be
play.
totally acting like
I think
yeah,
it's
it's not him at all.
It's
That's
not gonna
cool.
be him at all. I think it's gonna be something totally different that you did not expect. It's like, whoa.
I think he's got that in him, man. I do. I'm excited to see it.
I just hope he pulls from all the criticisms of the NFL world that come down on him and just use that as his
he can pull from the Buffalo game, man. That'll piss anybody off.
Pull from that. Pull from his haters as well.
Speaking of Buffalo, though, I must ask, why do you think he got robbed of the MVP this year?
Because they're changing what it even means. I feel like they're changing because how do you the same voters vote all pro, right? Mm-hmm. That vote MVP, same exact voters. So how do you win first team all pro best quarterback? They gave Lamar first team all pro quarterback. And then now they're starting to the fact that they voted MVP differently, they're starting to say, well, it's about value that you bring to your team.
Yes, that's crazy.
Josh Allen didn't have Derrick Henry or as many weapons or blah, blah, blah. Like, to me, I think that is a bad way to grade the MVP. I mean, growing up, at least from my perspective only, I'm not a voter, but as a fan, like, I've always thought the MVP was the best player that season. Who had the best season? And I know there's voter fatigue. Like, that's the reason LeBron doesn't have as many MVPs as he probably should, because he could win a lot of other years, and they stopped giving it to the same guy. So the fact that Lamar won last year, they're like, well, we can't give it to him again. Well, you should have in this situation, in my opinion, because 41 passing touchdowns, 4 picks is absurd. And what the Ravens have one less win than the Bills. It's not like the Bills had some phenomenal season compared to Baltimore. They didn't have the number 1 seed. People were beating Lamar up for getting the MVP the previous year, but the Ravens were by far the best team in the AFC. They had the number 1 seed. They had the bye, and Lamar was dominating down the stretch. So, like, that's why he got the MVP too. And it was a down statistical year last year. So I guess you do kind of have to wait a little bit different. This year was not a down statistical year. Lamar Jackson went crazy. Joe Burrow, if they would have had team success, should have been more talked about too. Like, his stats were insane. So the fact that it went to Allen confuses me. I honestly can't defend that argument at all. I feel like Lamar should have won because he had the stats and the team success. And if you want to start changing the way that MVPs are voted upon, and it's all about how you assess value, which is super subjective. Like, how are we even like having a real educated discussion about, oh, well, if you took Josh Allen off of the Bills, then they're going to win 2 games and the Ravens would be 500. I disagree. I think we've seen what it looks like without Lamar. It's not good. You know what I mean? So, like, I think Lamar brings just as much value, if not more. So, like, that's a bad argument. And they just tried to say, like, well, Derrick Henry had 1,900 rushing yards. But I think it was even crazier the fact that Derrick Henry had 1,900 rushing yards and Lamar had his best season. Like, they both did it. So it's not like Derrick Henry went off and that alleviated a lot of pressure and Lamar just had like 30 touchdowns and low picks because we were able to run the ball. No, Lamar went crazy through the air and Derrick went crazy on the ground. So I don't really know how that takes value away from what Lamar did. And I think that I'm going to start like de-weighting how I feel about the MVP if we're voting differently like that. And it's not about the best player. It's about value. I'm not riding with that criteria.
Yo, I agree. I think part of the issue is, and by part, I mean a big part of the issue is everybody has their own criteria. There's no one set standard for what MVP is. So what Emmanuel Acho thinks versus what Stephen A. Smith thinks is not necessarily the same thing. So there's no continuity. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and I think it's unfair that the media has half the votes because they control the narrative.
I agree.
They're the ones who like, you got all these former NFL players that were voting Lamar because they know football. And then you get half the other voters are in the media, and the media has more influence, you know, unless that former player's in the media, then maybe they have some influence, but like people are watching the media like that's where they're getting entertainment. They're getting news from the media. So these guys with these media votes are controlling the narrative, and it shouldn't be that. It should be watch the game. who's the most
That's it.
dominant player on the field. We're watching football, man. We're watching sports. Like, we're not talking about narratives. Dan Orlovsky had way too much pull in the narrative last year. Like, I don't like that much control. I think that we should lower the media votes. If you want to keep a couple guys, make it 10 out of 50. But like half the votes are in the media. I don't think that's fair. A lot of them haven't even played the game. And I think we should, get coaches to vote, get former players, get Hall of Famers to vote, like whatever, like however you want to set the vote, the 50 guys. But I think it should be people that know ball and aren't worried about narratives. You shouldn't even have to create a narrative. There shouldn't be there should be no motive. It should be who's the best.
Man, it's stuff like, Emmanuel Acho and making up reasons why he voted for Josh Allen. You had Dan Orlovsky, who's in love with Josh Allen. I mean, this guy, every week he praises Josh Allen more so than any other quarterback out there. So I think you're right. It was just a narrative from the media because it was just weird. Like Tom Brady votes for Lamar Jackson. And then, like you said, you got somebody like Dan Orlovsky who votes for Josh Allen when that shouldn't have been the case.
Yeah. And he voted Lamar All-Pro.
Yeah.
Him and Acho, they both did.
Yeah, and then they switched their vote and then got super insecure about it the next day.
Because they knew the wrath was coming. Like it was just the stupidest thing I'd seen.
But Acho went entirely too deep with his explanation for why he didn't give it to them. It was like, bro, you thought about that. He was up at 3:00 in the morning. Was like, yeah, that's why I'm not going to vote for Lamar. Like, that's too much.
I think it helps the show's views. I think they sometimes like to stir up a little controversy.
And that's why they do it. And that is exactly why they do it. It's all about ratings. Just like that Stephen A. LeBron thing.
Yeah, how you
ratings,
feel about that?
man.
How you feel about that, Rich? How you feel about the Stephen A. LeBron thing?
Stephen A. is milking it now, man. I think
Absolutely.
it's right on point, man. Like Stephen A. is using this as like, this is about to grow my business tremendously. He's obviously doing very well anyway. He doesn't really need it, but like, this is just getting him more and more views. You see his YouTube views, his views are crazy on YouTube. This guy's getting paid, man. Like he's getting like 10K an upload. You know what I mean? So it's I think he loves it, but I think it was cool that LeBron speaking out a little bit about it. I don't know, man. It's not that serious, really. I don't have like a strong opinion about it. I just think it's being milked a little bit on Stephen A.'s part, and I honestly can't even listen to him anymore. I used to watch First Take when it was like on TV.
Exactly.
But like now I'd rather watch like local media. National media doesn't move me as much as it did when I was younger. I don't know why. I don't know if I'm just like seeing through the facade. Has it always been that way?
Maturity.
Like,
that's what it is.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, that's what I mean. I'm like, I'm seeing through it. I'm like, nah, man. And they talk about so many different things that they really don't know much about anything. So like I know if I listen to a local channel talk about their team, they know so much. Like they are watching the X feeds and news come in daily, like every update. There's no way a national media show has that. Even if they got their research guys giving them notes and stuff, they don't know enough, and you can hear it when they talk about it. So I just don't feel like I get a lot of value listening to that anymore.
No, you're right. It's too many of those shows. Like you said, growing up, it was like First Take was the show, and then now you got too many. You Speak, and then they done changed so many times over the years. Undisputed. And you see where Undisputed is, so it's just too many of these shows going on right now.
Yeah,
and not to mention, like, especially if it's Ravens talk, there's so many content creators.
Oh my gosh!
I mean,
most teams have a lot, especially the good teams. I think the bad teams probably don't have a lot because they don't get as many views. But
they certainly. But it's so much scrutiny still against Lamar Jackson. And it's like no matter what this guy does, it's like you put up, like you said, the 41-4. But then they'll feel like Josh Allen had a better year, or no, Josh Allen is still the better quarterback. And it's like, if you're not Patrick Mahomes, then sit down, man. It's like that's still like, it still seems like Lamar should be the number 2 guy, but they want to put Josh Allen, and I think that fit into the whole narrative of the MVP because prior to this, Josh didn't have an MVP. I would have even settled if they had co-MVPs. I did say that. I would have been like, oh. Okay, but
I feel like Josh Allen should have been out. out of the convo completely.
Yeah,
I was
I agree.
between like Barkley and Lamar. You know what I mean? Like, or if you want to go just value, then I know he didn't have the stats, but you could say a Mahomes because they had that number 1 seed. They were the best team. I don't think he should have won, but I'm just saying, like, if you're just going off value, then that makes more sense than Josh Allen. Josh Allen would be like my 4th or 5th pick. And so the fact that he won, yeah, it just doesn't make any sense. But I don't know, man.
He beat the 2 number 1 seeds, so that was their justification, right?
We beat the Bills.
I agree.
Yeah, 35-10.
Pretty bad.
Allen looked terrible.
And
I was there.
That got totally dismissed.
Listen, the national media I feel like they've been in love with Josh Allen for quite some time, and every chance they get, they push him. Like, he was on a Madden cover, and I'm like, what? I mean, we know about the Madden curse, so it's like, all right, but they've really been pushing him bad, and they finally got an opportunity to do it with this MVP, and they pushed it over the edge, and I'm like, this is you want to talk about somebody milking it? They milking him.
Yeah, devalues the award.
I agree.
Like next year, I'm going to be like, I don't know how to vote. I'm just going to pick the best player.
It's like the MVP is only for negotiation purposes now. Like, it doesn't even really mean what it meant to us when we were growing up.
Yeah, it used to be a resume builder, man. Like, you'd be like, how many MVPs does this player have? How many championships? How many all pros? You know what I mean? Like, it was part of their resume. It was part of their legacy. And I still think, I guess it will be, but I don't like the way it's being graded upon. Like, if you're really tuned in and you're not just like a distant fan, you kind of see what happened. You know what I mean? If you're just looking from a distance, you go, oh, Josh Allen was the best player, but you didn't even watch. You watched like 2 games or whatever. Like, I get it, but like, if you're watching football like we are, it's clear as day that he was not the MVP.
He was not.
It felt like the NFL turned into the NBA with their MVP. That's what it really felt like this year.
Yeah.
Like, how like they're like, well, we didn't give it to, James Harden this year, so we'll give it to him this year. We didn't give it to Embiid, so we'll give it to him. Even though Joker has better stats. That's how it felt this year.
Yeah, I agree. I don't like it though, man. We need to switch it up.
Well, one thing you do like, Ron, before we get you out of here, I gotta ask.
Yeah.
Final Fours this weekend. A certain player at Duke, hopefully, maybe coming to your Wizards. Thoughts on the Final Four and how you feel about the Wizards? I know you're not optimistic about this draft lottery, but it is a good draft, like you mentioned. Thoughts on the Wizards this year, maybe the future, maybe a certain top prospect coming to DC?
Yeah, man. I mean, I would love Cooper Flag to come to DC. I don't know why you wouldn't want that. I think Duke's probably the favorite to win it all right now. I'm a Maryland fan, so I'm still bitter about the other week. Not that I thought we were about to win the championship, but I just didn't like the way we rebounded. But anyway, back to the Wizards.
Look, they called me crazy. I had Maryland and Duke for my finals.
I mean, if any year Maryland was going to make a run, it could have happened. Like they have a great team, but I mean, they got destroyed on the boards like that is and it's kind of a little concerning, I guess, for Queen a little bit too as a prospect. I think he'll develop fine, but I'm just saying he's super talented as like a scorer, quick feet for his size, nuts. But like that, I want somebody that's gonna go get the ball, get on the boards. You know what I mean? But back to the Wizards. I'm more optimistic because we're rebuilding. I hated when we were stuck in mediocrity for a while, trying to make the playoffs. Like, it was super fun to watch that Westbrook year where he like averaged a triple-double again and kind of went crazy with Beal. It was a fun year just to watch, but like I knew the whole time I was like, we ain't winning nothing. Like, when nothing that matters, like we're not going to go on a run and you're just like maxing out the salary cap and like going way over just to get knocked out in the first round. That's a bad way to go because now you're picking 15, 16, 14, and Tommy Shepard wasn't finding gems. So I think that was a bad strategy. So when we brought the new front office regime in and cleaned house, I think that was a good move. I knew it was going to be followed by some years of pain, but it's kind of like fun pain because we get to watch these young guys develop. You know what I mean? I'm super high on Koulibaly and Alex Sarr, and I think they're just stacking up. Bob Carrington from Baltimore is going to be a dog, man. He's so young. I think he's going to be great. I think George is a great. We've knocked the draft out the last 2 years for where we were picking. So, and last year's class we had second pick, but it wasn't as stacked. So hopefully we can get a top 3 pick. I think it's not just Flag. There's some stars in this draft. But yeah, I'd love the number 1 pick. But the lottery, they lowered the percentages. It's not even 25% anymore, like 14, 15, 16. It's lower. So I've been doing the Sims online, and we very seldom get the number 1 pick. Like it's sometimes we're getting like 5, and that'd be painful. That would be painful if we get 5. So I'm praying that we get the number 1 pick, but the odds aren't. The odds aren't that we get it. You know what I mean? So like you're definitely it's a dream to, even though we got the worst record, it's a dream to say that we're going to get the number 1 pick. We'll see. I'm trying to not get too excited about like envisioning Cooper Flag in a Wizards uniform, and then I get let down again because I feel like being a Wizards fan has been a lifetime of letdowns, and false optimism throughout history. So I'm reserving my expectations, but I'm excited, man. I like the way they're building it up. It's an OKC style of like just draft. We're drafting well, which gives me more confidence. Like these picks that we're making aren't bad at all. So I think we're building something, but we're gonna need to continue to get top picks and nail them.
What if we got? So what if we got? What if we got Derek Queen? Would you love to have him?
Yeah, but that means we got like the 5th pick or something, like or later. I'd love to have a Flag and a Queen. We got more than one. We can make some moves. We got a ton of second rounders, and I think we got some young guys and some assets that we're just holding on to. The Wizards are acquiring guys like Chris Middleton and Marcus Smart, and we were doing it with Kuzma for a while and sending him out, and they're Valanciunas. Like we're gonna keep just bringing in vets. Their other teams are kind of paying us picks to take on bad contracts, and then we're just letting these guys show their worth a little bit, give them some minutes, sell them back to a contender for another pick, and just stack up picks. We also have all the Suns first round picks from that Bradley Beal trade, and they're not going to be great in a a few years, in my opinion. And I think
they're not great now.
How about saying,
but I mean, like, I think they can
great now.
That's a good. Yeah, I agree. But you know what I mean? They still got some okay players on there. But in a few years, it's going down bad, and the Wizards own those picks. So the Wizards are sitting on a stockpile of assets, and I think that they're going to continue to be aggressive. They were aggressive in last year's draft. I think I wouldn't be surprised if we have a top 3 pick and then also trade back for another top 15 pick and just keep stacking these young guys. I like the AJ Johnson kid we just got from Milwaukee in that Kuzma trade. I think he's showing some flashes right now. So I like everything they're doing. Honestly, it's just going to take time. This is a very young team, like a lot of 18, 19, 20, 21-year-olds, like not guys that are ready to like go deep in on playoff run, but we saw what happened to OKC. You get enough talent there, get a couple years of development. I think the Wizards definitely could be making some noise in 3 years.
Well, Ryan, you are making noise on YouTube. Let the people know how to keep up with you, all the great things you're doing, and what you're cooking up. Maybe a little teasers, what's coming out this week, because I know you're always dropping some fresh content.
Yeah, thanks, man, for the compliments. Flock Rundown, just TikTok, Instagram. I've been slacking on TikTok and Instagram a little bit, but YouTube, I'm grinding like crazy, posting every day. 2 videos dropped today. If there's ever news, the video's about that. If it's a slow day and there's not much going on, I'm not going to like clickbait into some news. I'm doing draft regrade series right now. So I'm started with last year's draft, did 2024, 2023, 2022 Ravens draft class. Got highlights all through there, and like you can see every player and get to like relive the draft experience, which was kind of fun. So I'm just gonna go all the way to 96. So every slow day, I'm doing a draft regrade and mock drafts right now too, up until the draft. So that's kind of what I got going on right now. Go live once every like 2 weeks right now, but maybe go once a week if I can get more guests on. But trying to go live. I really wasn't going live at all for like the entire time until a couple weeks ago. I had Hendo on and I had Engraven on last week. So just trying to get guests on and go live and chop it up like we are right now. It's always fun.
Ryan, we could do this all day. We appreciate you, man, and we got to do this again, man. And,
Yeah,
and real quick, let the people know how to keep up with you one more time, and we'll put this interview out as a separate video and show you continued love and support.
I appreciate that. Yeah, at the Flock Rundown, YouTube, X, Instagram, TikTok.
Ladies and gentlemen, the one, the only, the Flock Rundown's on. Ryan,
Appreciate you,
all
guys.
the way from the 619 to the 410. We appreciate you, man.
Ray Mysterio.
Yes, so we got to do this again real soon. Maybe after
Yeah.
the draft before the season, we'll get you back, kind of get your
For
thoughts
sure.
on everything and see how you feel about that, and maybe see how the Wizards did in the draft lottery as well.
Yeah, let's do
One
it, man.
more
It was
time.
fun.
Thank you, Ryan. Appreciate
Yeah,
it, man.
thank you guys.
Much love.
Appreciate it.
Keep up the great work. Ryan, everybody from
Thank you again,
Ryan,
Ryan.
Ryan.
Appreciate it.
Rundown.
Definitely gonna be
Appreciate you,
checking you out some more on the channel as always.
Yes,
What's
sir.
that?
Appreciate you.
No, so I'm definitely gonna be checking you out on your channel as always.
Oh, I appreciate that,
If
man.
you
Thank
see-
you,
see a
guys.
Flex
Thanks for
Zone
having me.
comment, that's me.
All right, yeah, hell yeah. Thank you, guys.
Appreciate it,
man.
Ryan. One more
Appreciate
time.
it.
Ryan
Have
from
a
the
good
Flock
night.
Rundown. Yes, sir. You
All right,
too,
man.
Thank you. One more time for Ryan from the Flock Rundown. Appreciate him
That
joining
was
us.
good.
Great content, great
Sure.
discussion. Always love having the Ravens creators, hearing what's going on in the heartbeat of the Ravens community. So if you haven't already, go subscribe to Ryan's channel, The Flock Rundown. It's linked